I just watched The Last Showgirl. It was a lot. It was a lot. Let's break it down. The Last Showgirl is another 2024 release, but is now doing a wide release in theaters in 2025. So I consider this a 2025 release. It's directed by Gia Coppola and it stars Pamela Anderson, Brenda Song, Kiernan Shipka. There's also a couple other celebrities if you're interested in Jamie Lee Curtis and Dave Bautista, but they have slightly smaller roles. Imagine you go to work and then you find out at your job that you have less than 2 weeks to find another job because, sales were not happening and all your clients are gone. For some reason, all the employees that do the Razzle Dazzle show were not aware of how many people are in the audience of their show. So it just caught them all suddenly by surprise. Their show shutting down. Like, that doesn't make sense. I've done theater before. Like, you can see the audience. You can see how many people are in the audience. So I don't know what the issue was. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this movie despite how dreadful it was. And by dreadful, like the emotion of it, it was very a dreadful feeling the entire time. Once the announcement happened that Shelley, I almost forgot her name, Shelley could not perform at the Razzle Dazzle anymore because the show is shutting down, things started just going downhill even more and more. There was only one scene in this entire movie where it led up. It just feels like you're watching somebody become more depressed the further this movie goes along. I have to give it to Pamela. She nailed this performance entirely. I think she is a showstopper, but I also have to give credit to Jamie Lee Curtis because she was very gripping on the TV. Just really the whole trio of Pamela, Jamie, and Dave really took control of the spotlight. Also, this movie's a little nauseating. For a drama movie, it literally did not know how to stop shaking the camera. I almost craved stationary camera for like a moment. There were some really cool wide shots of like the camera like shaking a little bit, but it felt really natural. But like it got so close in the face. Let me show you how close the camera got in this movie. This is what she wanted. Like, my show's shutting down. It's shutting down. So yeah, that is just an example of how close those shots really got. Also, this movie is really short, but unfortunately, this movie has the curse of feeling like it's super long. This movie, for an adult film, is as long as a kid's animation, an hour and 30 minutes. And actually, it's an hour and 28 minutes, counting the credits, counting the intro title cards. A bit of an Oscar bait movie. We all can see it, like the trailer. When it has like ethereal music in a drama piece about life and how life is just really sucky, you know the Oscars are going to eat that up and be like, Best Picture, Best Actor. So, you know, when the Oscar nominations come out, I would not be shocked if The Last Showgirl got maybe at least one nomination. This movie really brings out hopelessness, and by the end of the movie, and it ends kind of abruptly, and I'll get into this ending because it's kind of unique, you just feel gutted, to put it that way. Like, it feels like the movie just scooped out your heart and just smashed it. A lot of the character scenes, they start out very grand, very big. It's very stereotypical Vegas. It almost feels like the materialism inside Vegas is translated into the main characters that we go on a journey with. But then once their careers are shifting over or shutting down, those characters tend to get aggressive with each other, which was kind of a unique spotlight that I think a lot of movies don't really touch on. Also, for camera style, this movie makes it feel like you are in the conversations. It has a very Office-esque style of shooting. It's very in your face, or I guess flipped around, in their face. I felt like I was standing with them listening to their conversation. I felt like their friend. A lot of critics use the word poignant to describe this movie, and they are right. I think using the word poignant in film critiques is really cliched, because I've been seeing that in the 2020s, this 2020 specifically. Shift the subject a little bit, we need to talk about the ending, because this movie, I read some like reviews on Letterboxd, Rotten Tomatoes, Google even, and kind of like a central theme that I noticed with viewers is that they felt the ending is abrupt, and I completely understand what they mean, but I don't exactly agree with them. The movie ends with the last show. The movie teases pretty much from the start that there is a last show. I mean, it's in the title, The Last. And the last shot is her smiling, kind of being the central character of the razzle dazzle. So the last show is a really huge character building element for Shelley, because she's been so dedicated to the show and thinks it's a very mature and wise show for Vegas. It doesn't show a whole lot, although we do learn from her daughter that the show is kind of a nudity show. I mean, for Vegas, not really, but you know, it's not as classy as Shelley is kind of paying it to be. And so when she finds out that she's losing this entire show, her world breaks apart. We see a smile from her, but it's not really an authentic smile. You know deep down that it's all broken inside. So a lot of people say the ending is abrupt, but really this movie is about a slice of life. It's not, everyone is so obsessed with movies having a complete story, but let's just get the facts straight. The world is never complete, like ever. There are certain aspects of your life that you can look back on and the story is still not complete. This is what this movie is entirely. When you are going through a depression, a valley, that's what this movie is. It's literally a picture of that. A woman is losing her entire career, her entire identity, and her entire craft and passion and art that she has put her entire life in. And I keep saying the entire, because that word has so much power in this movie. So to say that this movie ends abruptly is almost doing an entire disservice, because you're only looking at a snippet of life. You're not looking for a complete story. This is what a lot of Japanese storytelling does. It doesn't necessarily complete the story, but yet it's still good anyways. I really do like the central themes around this movie. I really love the characters. I love just how raw it feels. Even like the audio, the staticness, the graininess in the camera quality, the lighting, the way that the camera is held, it all feels personable and raw. It feels like something you would find on YouTube, and to see that something on the big silver screen, it's rare. So yeah, those are really the only notes I got for The Last Showgirl. It's a pretty short movie. I do think it's worth at least one watch. For a drama, I think it's a pretty strong entry into 2025. But yeah, it's a really depressing movie, so you need to go in with just a healthy mindset, because this movie will make you spiral if you're not in the right mindset. So just be wise before watching this movie.